Thanks, first of all, to the Delphi Economic Forum for giving me the opportunity to address you. Well, the first idea that I would like to share with you is that perhaps when Maria was speaking about the structural reforms is that when people, especially middle class, hear a politician or economist speaking about structural reforms, they will think in bad news, because it is always linked, at least for these last 8 years or 10 years, with higher taxes, low salaries, lower welfare for the people, and of course, precarization of the labor market. So if we believe, as I believe, that we are in a transition to a new socioeconomic model, perhaps we have also to review our expressions, our vocabulary, because structural reforms is not, for many people, viewed as an included model, economic model, but as a model that excludes people from welfare and development. Well, the reasons or the sources that creates productivity, which is in the end the reasons for economic growth, in this new socioeconomic model, in my view, one of the key ideas will be to strengthen social cohesion, which I think is one of the key issues also within the European Union and for our economic model. And when we speak about social cohesion, of course we are speaking about tax reform, but I think that especially for progressive movements within the European Union, it is also very important to reform our welfare state. We have built a welfare state during the 20th century with the idea of repair, and for the 21st century I think that we have to transform the welfare state towards the idea of prepare. And when we speak about prepare, we have to reform, first of all, our education system in order to create and increase the abilities and the capabilities of our kids to analyze data, but of course to incorporate soft skills and humanities, creativity, arts, philosophy, all these kind of subjects that unfortunately in many countries, for instance in Spain, we are losing in our educational system. We have also to reform our pension system in order to respond to this mega trend that we are suffering in Europe and everywhere in the world, which is the aging population. I think that the traditional answer of, let's say, prolonging the age of retirement is not enough. I think that we have also to include a tax reform that complement the traditional sources of public income in our pension system of social security quotas with a tax reform, with a specific tax for social security. I'm thinking especially in policies that in France or in Denmark and in other countries of the north of Europe has done during the last decades. And finally, I think that we have to reform our welfare state in order to tackle and handle new ways of poverty that are suffering many people within our countries. That is why perhaps we have to think in new ways of social policies such as the negative income tax, which could be one of the answers in order to respond effectively to new ways of poverty that many people in Europe are suffering nowadays. So yes, I think that we are in a transition to a new socioeconomic model. I think that the key issue will be, in order to increase our productivity, to strengthen the social cohesion. And of course, I think that in this new socioeconomic model that we are working towards, I think that we have also to change our expressions in order to be more empathetic with the middle class in Europe. So perhaps we have to forget the expressions of structural reforms and look for other kind of expressions that reflects and means accurate the idea of inclusion when we speak about economic growth.
You have more time, but if you don't need it, you have more time to speak, but you don't need it. You have 5 more minutes. You can speak.
The second question, sorry.
Okay.
It's true that when we speak about well, the second question is the coalition. Well, when I speak about and I think about democracy, I always think about this famous building in Barcelona. I don't know if you have had the chance to visit Barcelona, which is La Sagrada Familia, made of Gaudí. No? You know that La Sagrada Familia is a church that is always unfinished. So I think democracy is more or less that idea. It's always, as a human construction, something unfinished, always evolving, always adapting. And of course, we have to make coalitions. I think as a politician, or former politician at least, at this time, that in sometimes people have overestimated the power of transformation of politics. Nowadays, politics and power is very disseminated, as you said, Maria. And of course, we have to reach those coalitions within the political system at the state members, also among the European families. But of course, we have also to see abroad. What I mean by that? What I mean by that is, for instance, that we also have to speak about polygovernance, not only multi-governance, which is a traditional way of building this coalition within nations, for instance, at the European Union level. But when I speak about polygovernance, I also think building up these coalitions between cities, enterprise, NGOs, civil society in the end, or regions with other regions abroad, no? When we speak about the structural reforms, for instance, in the European Union, it is very interesting because people think that these structural reforms have been imposed from above. So I think that if we speak about generations and not elections, if we want to accomplish reforms that last during the time, I think it's very important to build up those coalitions, but not only with the traditional view of building up those coalitions, let's say with the traditional political parties, but with new social movements that are asking to participate and are nowadays, or at least they feel, are outside of the political system.